Hey y'all, today I'm interrupting my channel's regularly scheduled Big Fat Nothing to talk about stuff in the world that is weighing on me, stuff that is important and pressing and begs, I feel, discussion and awareness. And selfishly, I admit I just need to vent. So bear with me. And to get right into it, currently there are forces within the American government, within the United States Supreme Court, who seek to strip American citizens of their rights. And if you're overly cynical or perhaps just unaware, you may be asking or wondering to yourself, well, Mr. Man on the internet, what rights are those? And that's a fair question. Luckily for me, it's already been answered by plenty of people who are a hell of a lot smarter than I am. But I'm still happy to answer in my own words for the purposes of this message. It is the right to privacy and the implications of that right, the right and autonomy of our own bodies, and that of our own health. So, the simple fact of the matter is that many of the rights and liberties that we enjoy today in America are implied rights under the Ninth Amendment, which was basically the founding drafters' way of saying, look, we're an oppressed colony fixing to go to war with Britain, and who knows what's going to happen to us in 6 months, let alone 60 years or 600 years. But a lot of the shit that we're expressly spelling out in this document are just symptomatic and emblematic of these facts in these times. So just assume y'all have some other fundamental rights too, and figure it out as you go along. And along we went, and along several other important amendments to the Constitution went. Today we're left with a very similar system to other democracies around the globe, which is that sort of push and pull of individual liberty versus public order and finding a healthy balance so that one does not gravely overpower the other as society evolves, as technologies emerge, cultures shift, etc., etc. Local and federal governments pass laws that potentially infringe the Ninth and 14th Amendments fairly often, and it's up to the courts and, in many ways, the will and consciousness of the public to decide whether those laws are indeed constitutional and or fair and just. Sadly, our justice system is often far from being fair and just. However, in the particular case of women's reproductive rights, and in what the Supreme Court already ruled in Roe v. Wade, in a 7-2 decision found by a court where 6 of the 9 justices were appointed by Republican presidents, is that it is very much a deeply personal and private right that should be respected. Not just respected, but protected. Which leads us to today. In the year 2022, we are relitigating and potentially overturning that landmark ruling and instead granting states the rights to infringe upon an individual's right to their own body, to their own health, and to their own future. Never mind the needlessness of all this, as if reproductive freedom is somehow a pox on society that should be redressed, while we have trans people's rights assailed on the daily, but doing so all while the court is very much imbalanced and stacked with conservative appointees and ideologues, all of whom were essentially appointed by chance, is neither fair nor just. It is flagrant injustice. It is opportunistic and predatory. It is corrosive to the trust and confidence of the American public, and it is shameful. And this truly affects us all. As the court had already ruled, as the Constitution had implied, that is, both the Constitution and court were intentionally as broad and vague as possible because individual rights, particularly where it concerns people's privacy and subsequently their health and body privacy, shouldn't be continually challenged. And given a potential reversal on abortion, there comes very little in the way to stop the kinds of decisions people make about their bodies from being relegated to the state. Thus, the slippery slope concept. Beyond that, we have a responsibility to protect one another, to look out for our neighbors. Our mothers, our sisters, wives, girlfriends, aunts, cousins, and friends are all directly impacted by this. And everyone, and I mean everyone, with functional empathy understands how sacred life is and how serious abortion is. Those who grow and nurture life within their own bodies know this most of all. But life should not be forced and willed into existence by strangers free of any responsibility or consequence for that life. Life should be safe, healthy, happy, wanted, and just. Life should include the capacity to live, to be good, and to not infringe on the liberty of the person giving that life. Life in the witting absence of those virtues, in the absence of choice and humanity, is just forced reproduction and existential oppression. Because life at any cost isn't life at all. Okay, so that's about all I wanted to say. Another question you might be asking or wondering is, why do I say anything at all? Why speak up? Why get political? Well, firstly, I don't view this as a political issue because, for the reasons I've already explained, it's a human rights issue. Secondly, how I feel about this informs every part of who I am, which in so many ways has led me here to arts and acting and to all these various forms of self-expression and identity. Finally, I do have a voice, and if my ability to communicate across the ether might possibly enlighten, inform, or convince even just one more person to join hands with us and help stand up for our rights in the months and years to come, then I'll gladly take that chance. Because together we do have the power to lift each other up and make a difference. So thank you for listening and giving me that chance. All right, much love, y'all. Peace.